Superman fans, to your speeding bulletin for the week April 12th to April 18th, 2012. A week which saw a new Man of Steel trailer, Superman celebrating his 75th anniversary, and the release of Injustice Gods Among Us video game. Let's jump in and take a look at this special edition of the Speeding Bulletin with an extended Great Scott segment at the end. In movie news, this week started off with the Deep Space Radio Wave project, which surfaced as a viral marketing campaign for Man of Steel in December 2012. It became active once more with a new deep space transmission for fans to decode. The symbols decoded to the message, "You are not alone." Their new billboards located around America gave us our next step in the viral marketing campaign. Using the established Kryptonian numbering shown on the Deep Space Radio Wave project website, the Kryptonian inscription on the billboard translated to an IP address at which the website iwillfindhim.com was being hosted. The website had a 48-hour countdown in Kryptonian numbers. At the same time, the official Man of Steel website was taken over by white noise static, which finally revealed the following "You Are Not Alone" video message from General Zod.
My name is General Zod. For some time, your world has sheltered one of my citizens. I request that you return this individual to my custody. To Kal-El, I say this: surrender within 24 hours, or watch this world suffer the consequences.
When the countdown at iwillfindhim.com concluded, the new 3-minute trailer for Man of Steel was revealed in all its glory. Let's watch it one more time.
Goodbye, my son. Our hopes and dreams travel with you.
He'll be an outcast. I'll kill him.
How? He'll be a god to them. What if a child dreamed of becoming something other than what society had intended? What if a child aspired to something greater?
My son was in the bus. He saw what Clark did.
You're the answer, son. You're the answer to "Are we alone in the universe?"
Can I just keep pretending I'm your son?
You are my son. And I have to believe that you were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes the rest of your life, you owe it to yourself to find out what that reason is.
How do you find someone who has spent a lifetime covering his tracks? For some, he was a guardian angel. For others, a ghost who never quite fit in.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders.
You believe your son is safe?
I will find him!
My father believed if the world found out who I really was, they'd reject me. He was convinced that the world wasn't ready. What do you think?
What's the S stand for?
It's not an S.
On my world, it means hope.
Well, here it's an S. How about...
Excuse me.
Man Man of Steel director Zack Snyder presented the trailer at CinemaCon in Las Vegas on the same night, telling those in attendance, "I wanted the movie to be a big movie-going experience, full of action, full of emotion, and full of the biggest superhero in the world." With the release of the latest Man of Steel trailer, Superman fans have finally heard a small sample of what Hans Zimmer's musical score for the film will sound like. Variety asked the award-winning composer about the challenges and pitfalls of being hired to score a new Superman movie. He said, "The risk is to do the same thing again. You take far less risk by trying something new." Warner Brothers released a new Man of Steel image of Henry Cavill as Superman with the US military behind him. In an article titled 5 Mysteries from the New Footage Explained, Entertainment Weekly's Inside Movies examines the new Man of Steel trailer in depth with major spoilers about the film. Check it out if you don't mind spoilers at EW.com. Kellogg's are giving Superman fans a chance to win Superman's powers, or the equivalent in prizes, in a Man of Steel promotion. Look for codes inside specially marked Cheez-It, Keebler, Kellogg's and Pop-Tarts products for your chance to win airline tickets for a year, a personal trainer for a year, a 2013 Ford Mustang, and movie tickets for a year. Head to kellogg'sfamilyrewards.com/Man of Steel for further details. The Superman homepage and HotTopic.com have teamed up to give you a chance to win an official Man of Steel t-shirt. To enter the contest, all you need to do is answer a simple question at the contest page. The giveaway contest will officially conclude at 11:59 PM on Monday, April 22nd, so head to the Superman homepage to get your entry in. GB Posters in the UK are now taking orders for a series of officially licensed Man of Steel posters with lots of different images from the movie and for promotional artwork. Warner Home Video sent out the official press release for the all-new Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox animated movie, in which the world is turned upside down as one of the Earth's greatest superheroes, the Flash, wakes up devoid of his superpowers. Produced by DC Entertainment and Warner Brothers Animation, this all-new PG-13 rated film arrives July 30th. In TV news, Superman fans in the UK and Europe can look forward to a couple of DVD releases in June, which will collect together the best of Superman's animated adventures. For fans of Superman's animated adventures on TV, the Superman Animated Triple Pack DVD collection will bring together some of the best episodes from Superman the Animated series on 3 discs. Interestingly, this collection also includes the animated movie All-Star Superman. While the Superman Animated Movie Collection will collect together 5 of Superman's animated movies on 5 discs, including the newest animated movie Superman Unbound. The other 4 animated films included in this collection are Superman Doomsday, Superman vs. the Elite, Superman Batman Public Enemies, and Superman Batman Apocalypse. You can find them on amazon.co.uk. In comic book news, Superman comics we reviewed this week included Superboy number 19, which was reviewed by Adam DeChannel, who called it a massive game changer and he gave it a 5 out of 5. Mark Pritchard reviewed Injustice Gods Among Us Chapter 13, giving it a 3 out of 5, saying, "I'm sort of getting anxious for it to just be over." Mark also reviewed Smallville Season 11 Chapter 42, saying, "Good fun, engaging, leaving me wanting to know what's coming up next," and he gave it a 5 out of 5. From last week, Michael Bailey reviewed Action Comics number 19, saying, "I loved this issue," and he gave it a 5 out of 5. Superman comics available this week from April 17th include Injustice Gods Among Us Chapter 14, digital comic has been available since April 16. Batman Beyond Unlimited number 15. Justice League number 19, which is available in a Mad variant cover, a combo pack, and a black and white variant cover. Supergirl number 19, which is also available in a Mad magazine variant cover. Smallville Season 11 Chapter 43 digital comic is available April 19th. And Smallville Season 11 Volume 1 The Guardian trade paperback. Officially licensed by DC Comics, these premium clear stickers with white printing look great on the window of your car. Get the new 52 Superman sticker for $3.99. Or how about the Clark Kent Superman window sticker for just $3. These and other great Superman window stickers are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop. Now the news, the Injustice Gods Among Us video game was released this week. Guest reviewer Erkan submitted his review of the game, giving it a 4 out of 5, saying, "Injustice is an exceptional game and I would no doubt recommend it for all comic book fans and fighting game enthusiasts alike." As for the grand final of the Injustice Battle Arena, your votes were counted and the champion was decided. Who won between Batman and Superman? Watch the final moments of the battle to find out.
Stay down.
And the winner is Batman!
Needless to say, we disagree completely with the outcome. But anyway, I've played the game personally and it's definitely a lot of fun, so well worth checking out if you get a chance. The Superman Celebration has announced that they'll be welcoming back fan favourites Margot and Michael Rosenbaum as special guests for the 35th Annuals Festival in June. Kidder returns to Metropolis after her last appearance in 2005, while Rosenbaum was last spotted at the celebration back in 2006. Additionally, comic book creators Ron Frenz, Art Baltazar and Brett Breeding will join Chris Sprouse in Artist Alley and Writer's Way at this year's Superman Celebration, which takes place across June 6 to 9 in Metropolis, Illinois. On April 18, 75 years ago, Superman made his first appearance on the cover of Action Comics #1. All over the world, people have been celebrating Superman's 75th anniversary with websites publishing feature articles and videos, while other places like Cleveland, Ohio, hosted real-life events. I was interviewed on ABC Radio in Sydney this week about the 75th anniversary, which you can hear on the website now. Along with many other articles and videos from around the web, so check out the Superman homepage for all those 75th anniversary articles. And thanks to Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster for their amazing gift to the world. That's all the Superman news there was for the week April 12 to April 18. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com.
Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Great Scott, and one of the most exciting times to be a Superman fan. We have had the third trailer released after another countdown in Kryptonian symbols, which began with a static-filled image of Zod. Who knows if it was really Michael Shannon? Who knows if it's really going to appear in the movie, or if it was just part of the viral marketing campaign online, and that it was just something to whet our whistles that made us excited to see a kind of a badass Zod. And you know, if you don't like the word badass, then tune out right before I say badass the first time, and you won't be offended. But he sounded great. He sounded scary. It was creepy. It was dark. It was in static, and we get to see that Zod really means business just by that little ultimatum that he issues the Earth and then Kal-El, saying that he should surrender, otherwise he's going to see the consequences happen here on Earth. And then, of course, a new countdown started on iwillfindhim.com or .org or somewhere. And the countdown was the Kryptonian symbols once again. People decoded that it was going to be Monday night around 8:16 or so. And at around that time, we were retreated to the third and probably most spectacular Man of Steel trailer to date. And many people that I've already talked to and seen posting online and on different social sites saying that it's the best superhero trailer ever seen. I don't know that I'm going to go that far, because I'm already, you know, I often take a shellacking just for liking Superman in the first place. And one of the things I get from most people who aren't necessarily Superman fans but don't dislike him either is just that, well, you're just saying that because it's Superman. You know, when I explained to people that I kind of really enjoyed Superman Returns, there were a lot of things I didn't like about it, but there were also a lot of things I didn't like about Superman the movie or Superman 2. Probably many more things that I didn't like about those two films. They were very silly. They were on the silly side. They were campy. The first half of Superman the movie was a spectacular debut of Krypton and seeing the destruction of the planet. It was very dramatic. You know, him becoming Superman, very dramatic. Pa Kent dying, all that stuff. You know, but then once he got to Metropolis, it lost a lot of that real feel and that drama. and kind of devolved into comedy and camp in a lot of places. But here we have the third trailer for Man of Steel, and I'm hearing many fans crowing about it. And it begins with just simple piano, which we see Jor-El looking at the destruction of the planet, looking at the war going on, and saying, "Goodbye, my son." It is a spectacular. I mean, it's such a touching opening, and it's so amazing just to see. For me, when I hear that, just that simple piano strain, and I'm pretty sure, based on what we've been reading about Hans Zimmer's score, that he gathered a circle of 12 different types of drums and a simple 3-piece guitar, and then we have piano. It sounds to me, and I don't think anybody specifically verified this, but people are speculating and assuming that this is going to actually appear in the movie. This is part of the score. I was exhilarated by this score through a lot of the trailer. You know, it starts off very tender, and it's a very tender moment. We see Jor-El, parting ways with his son, and we see Lara here touching him for the last time as they put him into the capsule. What I really loved about the very, it starts right in. It opens to Krypton. What I really loved is we see this beast flying through the air. We see mountains. We see a city later on. We see an actual planet, a living planet with that seems to be teeming with life and civilization, but at war. And what I have always kind of not liked about the Donner version of Krypton was that it seemed to me that it was like a planet of 40 people that all lived in a dome, and that it was ice, and that there was nothing else going on there. And yet it's supposed to be a highly advanced technological civilization. So I already love this vision of Krypton, just looking at it in this trailer. And coming up right here is probably my favorite line in the trailer. He'll be an outcast. They'll kill him. How? It's simple, and he goes on further to explain he'll be a god to them, and the idea being, what could they do to him? And he doesn't know about kryptonite, and at least for this first movie, from what we're hearing now, Snyder doesn't want to know about kryptonite either, which is good, because we've seen kryptonite plenty of times, and it'll be nice to not have it be involved at the moment, just like many people are saying it's going to be nice to not have Lex involved, at least in a big way, from the beginning. So we'll get back to that later, but I just love that it's just such a simply spoken line, how, and it's fantastic.
I'll be a god to them.
And we see him kind of being loaded into it. We see a great shot of the ship taking off. And then, of course, we're crying as the WB logo comes up. And we're very excited as the trailer begins. There's just so much going on. And, of course, this voiceover here, what if a child dreamed of being something other than what society intended, speaks to the idea that this Krypton, at least as what was saying in the Entertainment Weekly article, is going to be a Krypton where babies are genetically engineered and their DNA makeup changed and altered in order for them to be either a warrior caste, a science caste, a medical caste, or possibly slave caste, as what happened in World of New Krypton. And I kind of like this idea. It makes, it adds to the technological advancement that Krypton supposedly has, but it also makes them a little less emotional than human beings, and it makes them a little more willing to be kind of mad scientist type of things with their children. And it also separates people into different areas and therefore will make some people more respected than others and some people feared and that sort of thing. And the idea here is that Kal-El was a natural birth because Lara and Jor-El decided that they wanted to have a natural birth out of love, and they did not want to alter their child. And on Krypton, that's unlawful. You're not allowed to have a natural birth. All babies must be, from conception, decided upon what they're going to be and made into that by an alteration of their DNA. So not only is we assume the planet's still going to be destroyed in this movie, and so the baby has to be sent away, but also perhaps his life is in danger because people find out that he was unlawfully conceived naturally. And of course we see the bus scene where the woman's like, I saw what Clark did, and my response to that is always, oh, so you came over to say thanks a lot?
I just keep pretending I'm your son.
You are my son. And that, of course, one of the most touching moments in the trailer. I have never been a huge Jonathan Kent, a huge Kevin Costner fan. A lot of times I feel like he's kind of one note and just Kevin Costner, but this is a very, very touching moment to me. You know, hearing that, and of course we had a lot of that going on Smallville for 10 years, where Clark didn't feel accepted. That's the other thing I notice about some of these movies. You know, they did the same thing when Smallville was announced. Never before has Clark Kent been the real guy, while Superman is the creation. It's always been the other way around, seemingly just completely glancing over Lois and Clark, where that was the exact premise. Clark Kent was the real guy and Superman was the creation. And we had Smallville, where Clark Kent was the real guy and Superman was the creation. And now we have the same sort of thing happening with this movie. I've read he's going to be lonely. He's going to feel isolated. He's not going to know how to handle himself. He's not going to know what he's supposed to do with his life. And never before have we seen that. Well, yes, we have. We saw it for 10 years with Smallville. Not to say that Smallville's the be-all, end-all, and y'all know how I feel about a lot of Smallville, but to come out and say, just like Smallville did, forgetting about Lois and Clark, that it's never happened before is just kind of an outright lie, or just a display of not having knowledge of what's come before.
And even if it takes the rest of your life.
And this is here where we see Jonathan being the Jonathan we've all expected him to be, and we all know him to be, a guy who is telling his son that he needs to find out what his place in the world is going to be, and that if it even takes him a lifetime to do it, he has to figure it out. And a lot of what happens here with Jonathan should assuage some of the fears people had with that little maybe bit in the last trailer. And here we see Amy Adams Lois kind of traversing around the globe, and I get the sense that she's going to have been following him for many, at least months, but maybe even years, maybe since she was a very young reporter, seeing and hearing about these fantastic things that are going on, but no one actually pinning him down and finding him or getting an interview with him or knowing who he really is. And it seems like her mission in life has become to follow this guy and to try to track him down. And in the trailer she says, how do you find someone who spent a lifetime hiding his tracks? Sometimes he's people's savior, other times he's a ghost, this sort of thing. And the music really kicks in. And I get the feeling in some of those spots, you know, na-na-na, Superman, na-na-na, Superman, that we may see that happening. We may see yet another Superman theme having strains within it that you could hear the word Superman and imagine that that's what the orchestration is saying. Here we have an awesome voiceover from Jor-El saying that Earth people will stumble behind you, they will fall, but one day they will stand with you in the sunlight. And this comes almost verbatim from Birthright, where Jor-El says the same thing. And it's very, very cool. It's a cool idea. It's a kind of a continuation of the God concept that a lot of these movies and a lot of these symbolisms that they use in Smallville and in the other movies, in the Superman Returns movie, are kind of Jesus Christ. You know, I don't really go for that, and I don't think they're doing that here, but that of course makes it sound a little bit like that.
They will join you in the sun. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders.
Here the drums kick in as he's flying into the sky, and we see the complete shot of him taking off from the snow all the way up through the sky and into space. And the drums, I just really think it's not a theme yet. You know, it's not something we're going to be, you know, you don't really walk out of the theater going, doo-ga-doo-doo, doo-ga-doo-doo, you know, but I kind of was. Last night I was singing it as I was going to sleep. Just from what we've heard in this trailer here, I find it to be a very stirring, very exciting, and kind of an awesome piece of music. And now we get into the action bits of the trailer, and we see a lot of things sort of going on. There are ships, there's explosions, there's battles.
If your son is safe, I will find him.
And we see Zod saying to someone, it appears to be Lara on Krypton, you believe your son is safe. It seems to me that this must have happened after they sent him off in the pod, but before the planet exploded. So, or perhaps this is a backstory and they've hidden the baby before they've decided that they have to send him off the planet, and maybe before Jor-El discovers that it's going to be destroyed, if in fact that is what happens. And Zod is still respected within the populace and hasn't yet been brandished a criminal, which then, when he says, I will find him a little bit later, he's still on Krypton, but now he appears to be manacled along with several other Kryptonians. So now he is branded a criminal, and I don't know where they're going to go with it. If it's going to be because he was unable to find this illegal baby, or unable to stop Jor-El from sending the baby off, which would then make him a much more sympathetic character. But I don't know if we really want that from Zod. So I'm hoping there are some other machinations going on where Zod is discovered to kind of be a tyrant in and of himself and dangerous, and that they have to kind of, be done with him as well. But maybe they're saying, if you're able to bring this baby back and we're able to, cleanse Krypton of this unlawful child, perhaps you'll get a more lenient sentence, and maybe his answer to that is, I will find him, and that he's going to come back with the baby. But who knows how that's going to go down. And of course we see all kinds of destruction. One of the most awesome scenes there too is when he's being fired upon, presumably by the American military, or possibly by one of Zod's craft. He super speeds out of the frame, and it's an awesome shot, and I love how it looks. And then we see either meteors or missiles or something coming down. My father was saying that to him it seems like it must be the American military attacking Zod's forces, because they would, and the city's getting destroyed, and they're making threats, and they're killing people, and we have to come down with everything we have, and of course it's not going to be enough. And in that scene, right in the background, if you didn't watch it, go back and check it out. There's a building with the LexCorp logo on it, or LexCorp, depending on how you wish to say it, which is awesome just to know it's there, and that doesn't mean Lex will be in the movie. Although, if you really slow it down and you look at the 3rd floor from the top, you can see a bald-headed man looking out the window with his eyes wide, screaming that there are missiles or meteors or something coming down. Check that out, and let me know what you find.
The world wasn't ready.
And there, of course, was Jenny Olsen. There's a great shot of him flying toward the camera. And this is great right here.
It's not this. My world, it needs hope.
Here it's an S. How about...
Excuse me.
And then, of course, we get the Coup De Gras. What I think is an answer to fans who've been saying, listen, can we just see him punch something already? It's been 30 years, and even in the original movies, we didn't really see him punch anything. Is he finally going to punch something? And we see him punching Zod, we assume it's Zod, through the air 3 times. And there's going to be a big battle in the skies. There's going to be a lot of flying going on. There's a lot of fighting going on. There's a lot of action, but there's also a ton of heart, as I mentioned, with the Jonathan scene and the Jor-El scene and Lara. There's a couple of things that I'm a little disappointed in, but this doesn't mean that the movie's going to completely ignore them. But we only see one shot of Martha in this trailer, and it's during the, I guess, the tornado scene where he's handing a baby back to a mother. Martha seems to be to his left. But we don't hear anything from her. We don't see any of her character in this. And Laura's just kind of there. She says a couple of words, but again, it seems like the men in Clark's life are going to be the guiding force and the ones that really have a lot to say. And I've kind of been disappointed in that Laura hasn't really ever been shown to have a much more active role. Some of that went on Smallville. So that was a little better, but I'm hoping that there's a lot more to Lara and to Martha than just kind of being there and being the wife of Jonathan or whatever, and being the wife of Jor-El. I read when I read Last Days of Krypton, I loved the way they kind of made them equals, and they made them both very smart and very integral to the plot. I could have seen that as a movie in and of itself, but I don't know if Hollywood would go for that, being that there's no Superman in it, and a lot of people wouldn't really care to see all these characters we don't really know that well. But I would like to see their story developed, and I hope that the women get to play a huge role. One thing that I'm seeing here that I really like is that Lois seems to be very well regarded. She seems to be very intelligent, very crafty, a little bit snarky. She has this conversation with Superman, but if you look at it, she's also behind glass walls in an interview room with the army outside. So she somehow was able to get inside to interview this superpowered alien that everyone's worried about being here. And she doesn't, as far as I know, she doesn't work for the army, and she doesn't have any particular authority, but she somehow managed to be the one who's going to do the interviewing, unless, you know, it's just a prisoner interview and she came in and they're letting her do it. But I mean, she's sitting in a room at a table where if he was dangerous, he could easily snap her neck or whatever. The other thing that's being speculated is why he's saying "excuse me" there. And you know, when I was watching it, I thought he heard something going on outside, and that he's going to leave and go tend to it. Not the battle with Zod. That's just an out of sequence cut that they are showing us there. But it could also be that he just heard someone tick the mic and no one else heard it, and then he's saying "excuse me for diverting my attention from you." He also he plays these lines spectacularly well. Cavill seems charming, confident, and yet humble in knowing who he is and knowing what he's here for, and being willing to submit to these questions and be arrested. I'm sure, you know, there's no way that they could take him in, as Jor-El says at the beginning. How could they stop him? Sorry that this one is so long, but I'm very excited. I love a lot of what I'm seeing here. The battles look great. You know, there's a point where assumedly the Black Zero or whatever starts spewing out tentacles, and there's a battle going on. There's this huge energy ray. We see the Fortress of Solitude, and it looks, you know, awesome. We don't see really the inside or what it really looks like, but of course it looks like it's still an ice structure. But oftentimes it is. It's just very oversimplified in the Donnerverse, where anybody could just walk in and it was just sitting there, and anyone would see it from, you know, that ever went over it in a plane or was anywhere near there. You know, it would be read by radar. I'd like to see an underground thing that there's only a special way to get to, but then it looks like Lois Lane is crawling through a tunnel that might lead to the fortress, so then that would be, you know, but you know, there's a huge door, of course, that opens up and Superman walks through, and that looks like an entrance to the fortress there. But who knows if that's some way that he has to get underground. You know, at times he would have to use his heat vision to heat up the ice to melt it so he could fly through to go into the entrance, and then he would come out of the water on the other side, which kind of made it so nobody else could get in but him. It's a little like the big giant key that no one could lift, but not as silly, not as Golden or Silver Age-y. But I really like a lot of what I'm seeing. There's this energy beam that he flies into. I don't know if that's possibly the entrance to the Phantom Zone, or how you get in there, or how you get out, or if, you know, or if that's just an attack on him, but it doesn't seem to be doing too much damage to him. Now, they're not showing him really being hurt in this trailer. We saw him kind of down with maybe blood coming out of his mouth at one point in one of the other trailers. But there's so much going on here, and I've watched it many, many times, and now I've kind of watched it with you again. And I've talked a lot about this, but I'm very excited. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky.